The Chinese Québécois form a vibrant and evolving community, an important part of Quebec's mosaic. The Chinese have been in Quebec since the 1880s. Like other immigrants, the early Chinese came to Gold Mountain, as Canada was called, to seek a better life. Instead, they found hostility and humiliation. In the early years, the Chinese were singled out for unequal treatment, with racist legislation like the head tax and the Chinese Exclusion Act. These two laws limited or prevented the Chinese from entering Canada for 62 years. No other immigrants were treated this way. Quebec passed a special laundry tax aimed at the Chinese in 1915. It lasted till 1984. Despite these hardships, the Chinese endured and established one of the oldest stable communities in Montreal. Today, there are over 55,000 Chinese Québécois, yet they are still seen as foreigners by many people.
Est-ce que vous connaissez la communauté chinoise du tout?
Non, pas plus qu'il faut, non.
Est-ce que vous connaissez la communauté chinoise?
Pas beaucoup.
Est-ce que vous connaissez la communauté chinoise à Montréal?
Un petit peu, oui.
Un petit peu. Est-ce que vous visitez le quartier chinois de temps en temps?
Oui. Oui, oui, on va aller manger au restaurant.
Oui, ils ont construit le chemin de fer. C'est eux autres qui ont été sur le chemin de fer aussi. Certainement, ça fait longtemps que les Chinois sont ici. Mais si on recule de même, puis qu'il y a combien de Chinois qui parlent français?
To many Québécois, the image of the Chinese remains exotic, mysterious, and even threatening. Fed by long years of stereotypes in the media, popular culture, and government racism, people still have a hard time knowing the Chinese Québécois as individuals.
The exotic kind of dramatization of Chinese has been so deeply ingrained in many people's mind. So there's certain very set kind of stereotype people have towards us, which is very, very difficult. In a sense that they seem to want to in this box. So this is what you are, you see. And they said, well, they're so exotic, they're so mysterious, and they're so different, so that they can never be like us, so that we will always have a hard time to understand them. So that there's too much emphasis on the differences, which can be over-dramatized and already passé.
On est Saint-Jean aujourd'hui.
The outdated images of the Chinese, non-French speaking and unwilling to adapt, do not reflect the reality of today's Chinese Québécois. The Chinese community is diverse and dynamic. Recent immigrants from China or Vietnam, long-time immigrants from Hong Kong and Taiwan, or native-borns from Rimouski to Montreal. They are all part of Quebec society.
Est-ce que vous vous voyez comme québécoise?
Oui, pourquoi pas? Oui, je me vois comme québécoise, comme n'importe qui est né ici ou qui sont immigrés ici, s'ils vivent ici, s'ils acceptent de vivre ici, de faire leur vie ici, mais pourquoi est-ce qu'ils ne seraient pas québécois ou québécoises?
我觉得来这儿以后还是很好，但是来了以后呢，我就觉着很愿意留下来。
Je suis très à l'aise d'être une québécoise d'origine chinoise. Parce que si je retourne en Chine, je peux être pas très à l'aise plus parce que j'étais en dehors depuis très longtemps. Je ne sais pas quel pourcentage de moi est plus asiatique ou plus chinois ou plus québécoise. Mais je sais que je suis quelque part en milieu.
Je n'ai aucun problème d'intégration. Je me sens aussi à l'aise dans la propre communauté qu'avec des francophones et des anglophones.
Est-ce que vous vous sentez comme québécois?
Oui, pourquoi pas. Je suis né au Québec, hein? Parfaitement, oui. Québécois, comme tous ceux qui sont nés ici.
But is a multiracial, multicultural vision of society shared by the Quebec majority?
J'ai rien contre ça, moi, qu'il soit n'importe quelle couleur, vert, jaune, n'importe quelle race, noire. D'abord, qui s'occupe, qui joigne nos coutumes, puis qui parle français, j'ai rien contre ça.
If I want to integrate, if I really would like to make a successful effort to be integrated, then I will try to learn about what Quebec is all about, okay? What Quebecers is all about, and I want to learn. Okay, and to make my effort to learn and to accept some of the new values.
S'ils n'acceptent pas le fait français, je comprends pas pourquoi est-ce qu'ils viennent ici. C'est majoritairement français. Fait que s'ils veulent pas de participer avec l'évolution des Québécois français, ben écoute, comment est-ce que c'est que je peux les accepter?
You will have to also learn about me. You know, because we do have differences. We have a lot in common, but we do have differences. So you will learn about me. You will respect my perhaps different set of value, and we come. You know, you come halfway, I come halfway, and we meet. We meet in the middle, which is our common ground. So we respect each other. We respect the differences, and we live the differences together. Hopefully, in a very harmonious way.
Je pense aussi qu'il y en a trop, là. C'est pas une question de racisme encore, mais je trouve qu'il y en a trop, tu sais. Mais, tu sais, là, plus d'en rentrer, ça ferait mon affaire.
Minorities are often seen as a threat to French language and culture. To the Chinese, learning French is essential, but it is not the only issue.
Je sais que j'ai ma place ici, je l'ai prise, ma place, je me suis installée et les gens m'ont bien traitée. Je pense que s'il y a eu des conflits à un moment donné, on s'est expliqué, il n'y a eu pas de problème. Mais je pense qu'à la base, le fait de parler le français, ça a beaucoup aidé aussi.
I think it's very important. For example, myself don't really speak French. I find it's very difficult for me to integrate into the society. I mean, I always feel I'm sort of outside the mainstream society.
I can't speak French, so I can't find a good job. But now I'm learning French a little bit. Bonjour. That's all.
Who would not like to be able to speak the language fluently, the language of the majority? it's a vicious circle. First, you say that you can't speak the language, therefore, your job application for this job or that job will be denied. Without an earning power, how can they survive with the luxury to learn that language without help?
Language alone does not guarantee economic security or equality. Chinese Québécois and other minorities, especially visible minorities, are underrepresented in all Quebec institutions. Part of the fight for equality is fair representation in jobs and in the decision-making process.
Language, of course, is important, but more important is that this sense of equality and equal participation.
On avait travaillé depuis très longtemps aussi sur le sujet de programme d'accès à l'égalité en emploi. Pour nous autres, ça c'est un programme très très important pour nous autres. Si on veut voir l'intégration de communautés culturelles dans la vie québécoise.
If we have a chance to assimilate, of course, we would assimilate the workplace, like we're not going to work in Quebec and demand that the cafeteria would turn in Chinatown restaurant, we wouldn't be radical like that. But it's so easy said that assimilate into a community from those who are least capable to implement changes. When we compare to the institutions such as Quebec to Ontario, we have over 600 professional people working for Ontario, engineers, accountants, computer scientists there. And we have less than, we don't even have 5 in Quebec. So we are also sick and tired to say that because you're not French, you can't speak French. It's not because you can't speak French. We know many of us who can speak French very well, couldn't find jobs at City of Montreal, couldn't find jobs in the government of Quebec.
In fighting for this equality, many Chinese have become increasingly active in politics, making their voices heard. As a school commissioner, Queenie Hum is the first Chinese elected to public office in Quebec.
The total is 8 and 45. Great! He only got 8 and he got 45.
It's very important to the Chinese community because I think 2 years ago, it was the first time in history that the Chinese community tried to put forth 3 candidates to run. And that's an important message there. It's not just to win, or it's not a matter of just winning, but there is an important message that we like to be represented at this kind of decision level. So this time, we want to try again, and this time it's also quite progressive in the sense that we have the first Chinese woman running. So it's another important message, saying that our community wants to get involved, wants to be part of Quebec, and wants to integrate, and wants our needs and things to be recognized, our status to be recognized.
In working with other communities, the Chinese Québécois are strengthening the voice of minorities.
C'est la première fois que 2 communautés ostracisées, marginalisées, discriminées se rencontrent pour pouvoir mettre en commun leurs efforts, leurs contestations, leurs rêves et leurs histoires.
There's a commonality of struggle between our 2 communities. Even if the government is not listening, we can listen to each other, and we can draw strength from ourselves to force the government to listen and to take action. We need greater unity among the various minority groups in Canada and in Quebec. The obstacles facing our communities are enormous, but if we can get together, the force of our communities can create change. So we have to start mobilizing the power that we have. And as the Chinese saying goes, the dust doesn't fly without the broom sweeping.
For generations, Chinese Québécois have been struggling for acceptance and equality. Charles Wong's family settled in Rimouski. Mayen Chan grew up in East End, Montreal. Both are native-born Québécois. But do they feel accepted here?
J'ai toujours senti que j'étais différente et c'était plutôt parce que, pas parce que moi je voulais, mais parce que les gens voulaient me faire sentir que j'étais différente pour des bonnes raisons ou pour des mauvaises raisons, mais toujours que j'étais différente, même étrangère. Mais même de temps en temps, même juste le fait que quand j'embarque sur un taxi ou dans un taxi ou quelque chose comme ça, les gens me demandent « Ah, d'où viens-tu » Il faut toujours j'explique toute l'histoire que je suis née ici et souvent c'est le chauffeur de taxi qui ne vient pas ici. Et c'est lui qui demande d'où je viens. Et c'est pas des choses méchantes, mais c'est toujours, même quand je rencontre des gens, ils vont dire d'où tu viens, automatiquement. Automatiquement, parce que j'ai pas l'air d'un Québécois, entre guillemets.
Non, je ne suis pas accepté comme Québécois, parce que pour la majorité Québécois, c'est Québécois de souche francophone. Alors, toutes les autres communautés ethniques sont pas considérés comme des vrais Québécois. C'est peut-être un préjugé qui a été formé il y a plusieurs années, mais c'est un préjugé qui tient tout le temps. Je ne sais pas pourquoi je ne serais pas Québécois. Je suis né ici, à moins que pour la majorité québécoise, c'est vraiment de souche européenne. Alors c'est, entre guillemets, c'est un préjugé raciste.
While many in the Chinese community support Quebec's right to self-determination, they are fearful that minority rights will not be respected if nationalism is taken to extremes.
Tant qu'on n'aura pas un pays, tout étranger va être une menace pour nous. Parce qu'on agit comme on agit pour avoir un pays qu'on n'a pas. Fait que là, il y a une agressivité qui peut se présenter de temps à autre. Parce qu'on est locataire dans le pays, on n'est pas propriétaire. C'est comme une maison. J'ai un beau logement chez nous, moi. Mais tant que je n'aurai pas la maison, je ne serai pas satisfait. Je suis satisfait du logement. Bon, je suis fier du logement. Mais la maison, je serais bien plus fier. Je ne l'ai pas encore, la maison. Puis je la veux, cette maison-là. Je suis capable de l'avoir, la maison, mais on m'empêche de l'avoir. Fait que tant que je ne pourrais pas avoir la maison, ben je peux être agressif des fois avec une personne, un immigrant qui lui, je sais pas, on rentre un peu partout, puis il ne nous respecte pas.
There is certain feeling of insecurity among the majority, which is the francophone, and because they feel insecure in the North American context, they feel their language, their culture is being threatened. That's why many of them are saying, yes, we will be working with you, minority groups, but we have our own priority. You know, we have our own insecurity on our agenda we have to address. And afterwards, once that is settled, we will be working with you to look into your interests. But to us, this is not acceptable.
What does it mean by separation? Does it mean that I will have a problem getting a job, or does it mean that if I don't speak French, people will kick me out? It really depends. If the situation, everything else stay the same, I mean, I can still do what I'm doing. I will stay. Why not?
So if Quebec will stay in Canada, I will stay here, even though I have to learn French. But otherwise, I will leave.
Sometimes I'm afraid that I will be separated, but my husband has been here for many years, over 30 years, and if we have to move, it is very difficult for us. So we have to wait and see. For the time being, we don't have any plans to move.
因为我刚来，我才来1年多，不到2年，所以我觉得我，因为不了解历史，但是我很同情啊，就是说。有一些争取民族的这个自觉呀，或者民族的自治权利呀，或者是保护少数民族啊，这些观念我是很支持的。
que si le Québec change, ben on va changer avec le Québec, on va évoluer, on va avec le nouveau pays.
I think the majority of us who call Quebec our home, they're quite ready to stay. Not because we believe we are Québécois du Sud or pure lane Québécois, but we just believe that no matter where you go, you have to make a living, and as long as we are given the tool to make a living here, there will be sufficient number of us who will stay.
Mais moi, je crois que si le Québec se sépare, ils vont être mis très à l'écart, puis ils auront une place beaucoup moins importante au Québec, parce que là, à ce moment-là, eux, ils vont être minoritaires, et je crois qu'ils vont être beaucoup moins représentés que s'ils faisaient partie d'un Canada uni, quoi.
Certainement qu'ils ont un rôle à jouer au Québec, parce qu'ils ont des mains, des pieds, et une tête, eux autres aussi. Puis s'ils veulent participer avec la force des Québécois, ben, s'unir avec les Québécois, le pays du Québec va venir un pays extraordinaire.
C'est certain qu'ils ont un rôle. S'ils s'impliquent, ils ont autant à faire que nous autres, les peu Québécois.
Là, on parlera plus de Québécois, là. On va parler de tout le monde. Je veux dire, tu sais, moi, je suis une Québécoise, tu sais, je me promène un peu partout, puis on dirait que je suis la seule.
Whenever you have nationalism on the rise, the passion for nationalism will be predominant, will be the only thing. And under this intense passion, it's only natural there will be very little room. And this is one reason I think that we cannot share this passion, because this same passion would justify intolerance towards minority, because there's simply no room to concern about minority.
Quebec has a unique culture. We want to know what that means. To us, the unique culture is this culture which is of pluralistic character, which is something we want to promote and to assure.
So all these being said does not mean that we will not like to participate in the revolution or in the social evolution of a contemporary Quebec. That we still like to belong, we still want to be counted. But to do so, we really want full partnership. We do not want that just you're tolerated to work in the restaurant, to work in the laundry, to work in the Chinese grocery.
We are demanding that the minorities' voice should be heard, should be represented, because constitutional debate touches everybody, and why not us? And what we are asking is, our views must be presented, must be represented, must be heard, and must be taken into account.
Quebec society is at a crossroads. Will narrow nationalism dominate, leading to xenophobia and intolerance? Or will pluralism prevail, so that minorities are accepted as an integral part of this society? This is the challenge for the Chinese in Quebec, as well as for all Québécois.